All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is, well, we had open house today. It is April 6th, 2026. My name, Coach Carignan, lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. What a crappy day. Price did not move. We still managed to make our daily goal. How I captured 800 today with a 30K account. I only used 10% of my account, which was $3,000. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to go over what happened today. All right, so we can move this out of the way. So right out of the gate, we had max gex. Well, P1, which would be positive. It would be the strike with the most positive gamma exposure was at 660. So I knew that was kind of gonna suck price right up to it. So I bought 661 calls, which were these right here. I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to take all this out of the way because we don't need it. All right, so you can see the blue dots are the buys. The red dots are the sells. So I'll open this up a little bit wider. Crank this up. Move this down. Kind of zoom in. So we had P1 was 660. So we kind of thought price was going to get sucked up right up to 660. Let me just say it like, I think it barely tagged 660. Let's see what the high is. Is 659.72. That's it. And then from there, they just never went anywhere. So like bull flags, this is a bull flag. You can see how price comes from this low up to this high and then just moves to the right. Okay, so in typical bull flag nature, I trade these. Let me get my arrows up so you can see it. 661.60 is our resistance up there. So not sure, we never even got to 660. So let me just move this out of the way so it doesn't confuse anybody. Okay, so right here, you can see this is where I bought calls, and then I sold into this spike right there. And then it dipped, I reloaded, and sold into this rally back up to the same spot, and it never made a higher high. From there, we went over to the right. That's it. So on these bull flags like this, okay, I trade them. I trade them like this. So you put a line across the top. Okay, put a line across the bottom. Okay, you can see the bottom right here. So that would be the bottom. And I got a nice tight stop right down here underneath these. You know, really tight. And I just trade them from bottom up to the top, but I don't run out of my contracts in case it wants to run. I just see how it goes up, so I trade it up right there, and then up again, and then up again, and then up again right there. And now we're consolidating, so probably gonna break up to 660 sometime tonight. But anyways, that's how I trade my bull flags from the bottom up to the top. And each time I get up to the top, I keep a little bit in case it wants to break out on that move, on that run up, in case it wants to break out. So, and then I carry it all the way back down to the bottom of the base, reload, send it back up again. Send it back up again. So that's how I trade my bull flags. Same thing with the bear flags. Okay, I just trade them from the top down to the bottom, top to the bottom on my bear flags. Okay, so you can see right here, this is where I made the money today. That was it. Other than that, there was no trade. Looked like we were going to get a breakout here. Didn't get far enough, so it is what it is. Made my daily goal. That was the object, 1%. So made 1% today. So you can see I made 12 on this, made 842 on that, $2 there, lost 57, made 61 there. That was a put spread that had to be converted. We never broke down, so I converted it to a bull put spread and captured actually a ratio spread, bull put ratio spread, and made some money off of that bull put spread right there. So that was it for the day. Slow day, sucky day. Remember, you're paying for $11 moves in your options, and look at today, you're only getting a $2 move. That really sucks. It really does, because you're paying all this premium for an $11 move, and you're not even getting it. You're only getting a $2 move. That's why it makes for a hard day. It's a lot of decay going on when you're not even going to get the $11 move on your in the money option, or even your at the money option. So it makes it difficult. And then if you get an out of the money option, you got to close it out and keep moving it closer and closer and closer to what would be the next viable strike that price could probably get to based on the amount of time left in the day. So that makes it even more difficult. Sometimes it's just easier just to get an at the money option and then just wait for the bottom of the base and trade it to the upside. Okay, so that's it for today. So we had max gex, P1 again 660. So we traded the levels. We never got a 10-minute trend. No 10-minute trend at all. Did not get any separation from the VWAP line right there. So there was actually no trade. Actually, for a good part of the day, almost 4 hours, 3 hours in the afternoon, after making my bones in the morning, just really no trade. Just kind of hanging back and waiting for the breakout and a retest of the breakout. So nothing really happened today. So we did a little bit of learning. That's it. So that's SPY on the 10-minute chart. So coming into the close, we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2 hour, we got a 2 hour uptrend. We've got the 3 and the candlesticks plotting over the rising 8. All right, you got some daylight between the 3 and the 8. 2 hour uptrend coming into the close. I expect it to reach 660 either in post-market tonight or pre-market tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens. Daily chart. We had to look at this back here on the 10-minute one more time. I'll look at it on the 15. Okay, so you can see we got a top here in the post-market, pre-market, and another top. So it's kind of like, we failed to get the breakout. After 3 times, it's capable of rolling over, but instead it's stuck around for over an hour. Now, I have a rule that if it sticks around for greater than 6, 7, 10-minute candles, it's my bias, not opinion, that they're committed to going higher. So they just stayed there all day and ground away at the overhead supply. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, if we just rip down or what happens. I know this, at the end of the week, there's a lot of negative gamma exposure near the end of the week. So eventually we're going to have a hard fall at the end of the week. We'll see what happens. I'll keep an eye on that for the end of the week there. So there's SPY, 10-minute uptrend into the close, 2 hour uptrend into the close, daily candle, nothing to brag about, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, and over the falling 17, and at the bottom of quadrant 4, so is still bullish, all right, but obviously still haven't made a higher high yet, still in a downtrend right here on SPY daily chart. Okay, so still in a downtrend. Weekly chart, still in a downtrend, haven't made any higher highs. Here's the origin of our rally. back here in April. It goes up, and we're over to the right. Okay, you can see we got a low, we made a lower low, so we're bullish, but again, we're in a downtrend. Monthly chart is still bullish and in an uptrend right there. Okay, so we'll see what happens with SPY. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at QQQ. Let's look at that on the 10-minute. Just like SPY, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. You can see daylight between the 3 and the 8, so 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, 2-hour uptrend coming into the close, daily candle, higher low, higher high closing, excuse me, over a bullish trap, over the falling 17, still up here in quadrant 4, so that's bullish, all right, but still in a downtrend, no higher highs made yet. So you can see price underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, underneath the uptrend line, but up here in quadrant 4, bottom of quadrant 4. So still bullish, but still in a downtrend. Weekly chart is still in a downtrend right there. You can see low, made a lower low. Monthly chart, there's the origin of the move, April. Monthly chart, still bullish and in an uptrend on QQQ. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow on the daily chart. Inside day, lower high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap, closing over the falling 17, closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right here. We're in the upper third. All right, so that makes us bullish, but still in a downtrend. No higher highs made yet on Diamond Dow. IWM prints a higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over that flat 17 under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Another one at the bottom of quadrant 4. Yeah, it's bullish. Did we make a new high? All right, so here's the high here is 253.07, and the high here is 253.05. Still no higher high. That means they remain in a downtrend until they make a higher high. So they remain in a downtrend, but they're bullish because they're still in that upper third. There's IWM. Stinker, FNGU. Today's candle, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross, but under that falling 17, under that all-time high anchored VWAP. No longer in the lower third, so they're neutral, but still in a downtrend until they can produce some higher highs. So neutral, but still in a downtrend. Okay, you can see they're no longer in the lower third, so they're neutral, still in a downtrend. That's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at precious metals and then oil and gas. Start off with silver. Silver's candle today is higher low, higher high, closing inside a bullish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Neutral, still in a downtrend. Gold. Gold is, see, the high here is 431.67, 432.31. Higher high, higher low, closing in a bullish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Back way out. Here's the origin of that move back in 2022. That's an all-time high. This is bottom of quadrant 4. That's bullish. Still no uptrend. Still in a downtrend till they make a higher high. That would be the high to beat right there. And still underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. So bottom of quadrant 4, that's bullish, but still in a downtrend. That's for gold. USO. All right, USO, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, over the all-time high, the 4-year high anchored VWAP right there. This is a new 13-year high made today. Another new one. Made a new 13-year high on Thursday. We're making a new one again today. So there's USO, bullish, and in an uptrend. Anytime it's making new 10-year highs. New 10-year high, not a 13-year high. New 10-year high. Okay, UNG, that's natural gas. And we've got an outside day that's a higher high and a lower low. We're closing under a bearish trap, under that falling 17, under that 12-month high anchored VWAP. This is the all-time low right here. See how close we are to it? We're in a downtrend. We're in the middle of quadrant 1. All right, so here's the 12-month high. So this is bearish down in quadrant 1. Okay, and we haven't made any higher highs, so we're still in a downtrend. So bearish and in a downtrend on UNG. Look at T2101. This would be market participation. Price kind of staged a quasi disappointment rally, and breadth and participation increased. That's a good sign. We'll see what happens. All right. Still remains to be seen. That's T2101. T2122, we spent the day waffling between the buy and the overbought zone. Clearly a bullish day for the market, rallying between the bull and the buy and the overbought zone right there. So nice day for the market on T2122. Not too bad on T2101 with the push up, and we got more participation on the bullish movement today. So I like that. T2123. Again, we made higher highs. So we're still in an uptrend, but we're clearly bearish on the quad lines because there's the all-time high. And you can see we're at the bottom of quadrant 1. So that's bearish, but currently in an uptrend, there's a high. They made higher highs. You can see we got a bullish gap up, never filled by the bears. So that's bullish on T2123. It's bearish down here, but the move is an uptrend, so it's higher highs and higher lows. So bearish, but in an uptrend on the 15-minute chart. If I said bullish, I misspoke. All right, so on T2123, here's a 3-bar chart. We'll take that off. And you can see here's the 2024 high. There's the origin of our rally, April on up. You can see we make a 2024 high. We make a 2025 high. We have a pullback, and then we turn around and make a new 2026 new all-time high. Price action still up in quadrant 4, 3-bar chart. This is bullish. We're underneath the flat 200. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. So we're underneath the flat 200. I like to be a bull, but price is kind of like in between. I haven't seen where it really wants to go. It's acting bullish recently, so when the bears show up, I'll be bearish again. But until then, I'm going to kind of stick with the bulls at this time. T2123 3-bar, it's bullish up here, but we're in a downtrend, and we have not made any higher highs yet on the 3-bar chart. Stinker on the 15, bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. That is a good sign. So uptrend. Okay, we're up over the falling 200. That's a great place to be if you're going to be a bull. All right, but if we pan way out here, put the quad lines in, you can still see we're in the bottom of quadrant. We're in the lower third. All right, so in the bottom of quadrant 2. All right, so we're still in the lower third, so we're still bearish. We're currently in an uptrend right now. So there's FNGU on the 15-minute chart right there. Okay, so like I said, I showed you how I made my money today, mostly on this 661 calls right out of the gate. And that's it right there for us today, traders. Tomorrow, hopefully, will be a better day, unless, of course, we have more consolidation over prior consolidation. So we'll see what happens. All right. And any questions? If there's no questions, again, I want to invite everybody to take a trial. If I'll be open here tomorrow. Hope you. I want to invite everybody back again tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Today was just a crappy day. There's no room to show off my skills and talent and show you what you can learn. But it is what it is. I'll take it. It's not a bad day. I made my goal, and that was the plan for the day. And let's go back to SPY, and we'll click it on the 5-minute chart. You can see still got that 10-minute, 5-minute uptrend coming into the close right there. So let me check the headlines. Check with the room. Alpha Dog says something. Thank you, Ed. What do I think about Google? All right. So I'm going to check it out. So Robert wants to know about Google. And he got which Google? The one with the L? Okay, so here's 10-minute bullish consolidation, 2-hour uptrend, daily, no higher high made yet. Is that the strongest one in the FNGU? I'm just curious. If you know, if you don't know, it's okay. Netflix. Okay, you know, I like Google, but I like the hold right here. I guess you want to be bullish. Is that what you're asking? You haven't made any higher highs yet. And you're just barely picking a bottom. We got a higher low here. So on the short time frame, I like it right up to there. Unless it can break through, see that breakdown candle high, actually right up to there, 308.10. If it can't get over 308.10 and hold that higher ground, I mean, that would be as far as I take it, right there. So I only like it, not on the daily chart. I only like it on the 2-hour chart, if that makes sense to you, Robert. You got a higher low. I'd be looking for this to be inspired to make a higher high. So until they can get up here, show me a higher high on the daily chart or hold the higher ground up there. You know, the second, Thursday wasn't too bad. Today wasn't too bad. But not really, you know, I want to see that higher high over here on the daily chart. So back up to there. So got to get up over that 311 number and hold that higher ground to be bullish daily. Until then, it's just a short time frame, and that would be the 2-hour chart. And again, I'd be looking to take profits right into this 306, 3. Here's that breakdown candle high right there. Yeah, right into this 306, 307 area. All right, that's where I'd be looking to take some profits. And then after that, I'd kind of just sit on my hands, all right, leaving one trailer contract to see if it can ride up here and make a higher high and hold the higher ground. All right, that would be my plan for Google. Short time frame, and then back to Missouri, the show me state, and it'd have to show me it can get up here and hold that higher ground. Netflix. All right, Netflix 10-minute chart. That's a bearish flag there. So nothing bullish on that one. 2-hour chart. You know, you got a big loop right here, which is nice. They tagged a prior high. You want to see them get up there and hold. They were holding in the pre-market, but they struggled in the open market. So not enough yet for me to say I want some. All right, it's nice recovery. All right, but you have green erases red over $100. Okay, but you need candles, a complete candle to open and close up there, or at least close up there over that. So for me, it's kind of a stay away until I can see a candle close up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you got a candle to close up there, it's green erases red. And this would be the red right here. And then here comes the green. Let me duplicate this. And this would be the green. And you kind of want this to move up. You know, up to there, 110 area, right up there. And that would be my green erases red. So you're approaching that green erases red. The nice thing is, after this big candle right there, they didn't really leave the area. They're still kind of lingering and hanging around the corner, of the drugstore. They went up there, but then they looking for the breakout over the highs. See it right here. And then they lost it. So like kind of a failed breakout, but they're not leaving the vicinity. So they're kind of lingering here, ready to probably try it one more time. So not a big fan of Netflix. Not as much as Google. Again, both smaller time frame. The 2-hour chart. I want to see them hold some higher ground up here. You can see that's nothing but a big wick. And this is an extension of that wick, that red candle. So until you can get up over that 100 number and hold that higher ground, for me, I kind of stay clear of it. All right, that's just how I'm looking at it. And it probably has the potential to get up there, but once it gets over 100, shows you it can hold that, I think the possibilities are much better. But until then, not so much. Intel. Intel's bullish right now. Okay, they got to finally hold up here. They're in a big bull flag through. You see that bull flag, February, March. Okay, they gotta hold this area. All right, they've gotten to the 50, and then they lost it. See how they got up to 54, and they couldn't hold the 50 number. Okay, 50 is that big, fat, round psychological number. If they catch on the 50, that is great news. All right, so catching on the 50 is great news. All right, but they got to hold that, for a couple days. You want to see 2-3 days hold up there, kind of like we did in Google. You notice on Google they got 3 days kind of holding here, but they're still underneath all of this resistance. They're approaching resistance. Okay, so on Intel, you want to see them hold. And look at today's candle. It's the sword, and the business end is pointed up like a big middle finger. All right, so they need to hold this 50 number. All right, and they also need to take out the tip of that sword. All right, you don't want the business end of the sword pointed up. Not if you're going to be a bull. All right, so it's you need them to show you they can hold this for 3 candles up here over 50. Okay, that's what I would like. I got rid of all my Intel in the $1 million account over here. Okay, so you can see I had 4 contracts left. I only got 1, and that's 256 days. So I only got 1 left. I have no shares. I sold everything off coming into the 50 because they struggled with the 50 before. So I want to see them. If they can hold, I'll be interested in getting back in. If you're going to be around, Gene, I'll let you know whenever I trade the $1 million account again, and I'll be when I reload Intel. I'll post it. I'll actually post it up in here in the alerts. Okay. Oh, you got out half today? Okay. I think it's got the potential to get to 100, all right? But I want to see it hold 50 first. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it does need a lot of participation for the move, but let me just say, you know that the chips are the future. You know, the graphics chips and the CPU chips, those are the future. Nothing can be done without that kind of technology. And Intel makes pretty good chip. Micron makes pretty good chip. Taiwan Semiconductors makes pretty good chip. And if you notice, a lot of your market rallies originate with the SMH being in an uptrend. Okay, you know, all your market, yeah, exactly. So when you want a good market, a robust market rally, you want that SMH because that's the future, that's technology. So you want the industrials, you want the SMH, and you want the financials. If you got all 3 of those working like a trinity, moving higher, you can have a nice robust rally. All right, with only 2 of them, you get like a so-so rally. All right, but when you got all 3 of them on board moving higher, it's look out above. All right, and you can see right now the SMH is doing. Let's take a look at it. Let's just look at SMH on the daily. Okay, so SMH still up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, but you're coming close to making an uptrend. Okay, we'll know later this week if they can print a higher high right there. right? We'll know later this week. And let's look at the financials. Yeah, financials not looking too good. So here's our origin of our move right here. So financials pulling back to the midpoint. So financials got a long way to go to get bullish. All right, so we can't count on them. So let's go look at the industrials. So we got the industrials are looking good, right? And then we've got the SMH looking good. Okay, the only thing we're missing is the financials. Okay, so we're in store for a so-so rally, not a robust rally. You see what I'm seeing? Okay, you still got to make a higher high on the XLI, and get this, the high to beat is the all-time high. So that's a tall order. So it's going to be tough to get a nice robust rally, even a so-so rally, when the industrials have to make a new all-time high just to get into an uptrend. All right? But nothing says that the chip sector can't do well. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, regional banks need to improve. Interest rates need to improve. It's going to be hard with high energy prices, because energy just goes into everything that we make and do. I mean, you can't make plastics without oil, and oil, it's just a snowball effect. Eventually, if they figure this out, that'll be great. Either that, or you're going to get what is another round of inflation, all right, as institutions reprice their product to accommodate the higher energy cost. And you'll get another round of inflation, and probably in 9 months, 12 months, we'll get another robust rally, and that'll all be due to the higher energy. That is where companies have just repriced it. But we'll probably go through a dip, all right, a pullback. I don't know how violent the pullback will be, but until we can get this energy in line, we can get back to rallying. But we've done pretty good so far. Just going to be a while. All right, that's it, traders. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock, okay, in the morning. I come in at 8, all right? Remember my recording's up here, okay? You hit the people, see the hamburger, archives. There's the recordings, okay? So this is the recording for this morning, and this one is for the afternoon. And then my videos, okay? My videos are going to be posted in the room. Move this over. Okay, my videos get posted in the room. So this is this morning's video. That would be Thursday's video right there. Okay? That would be Thursday's video. That would be Thursday's morning video. This is this morning's video. All right, I'll see you all 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll do it again. Thank you.